Welcome to the-fwot-show on the Coil Entertainment Network, pointing out idiocy one story at a time. I'm Rob Steele, that's Jesus Jones in the background, and what the f*** is going on in Florida? Yeah, there's a good way to start the show. Going back to the whole gun at a school killing people thing. 17 students died in Parkland, Florida, and Florida's government responds not by banning guns. Nah, that might be something that would make sense. No, the response is now schools will be forced to post "In God We Trust" signs. Because, yeah, that's gonna stop it. Representative Kimberly Daniels cited the shooting as the reason for this little bill. She said that God is the light and our schools need light in them like never before. They got fluorescent lighting. It was good enough for the shooter to see the kids to shoot them. Adding more light is not going to help with this issue. You twit. Cameras aren't really going to help either. Did you hear this story out of North Carolina? It wasn't a kid. It wasn't an AR-15 for a change, and yet it was still a shooting. There was a North Carolina man in Wingate, North Carolina, which I'm told is southeast of Charlotte. Southeast of Charlotte is South Carolina. It's on the border. I don't care where it was. He's walking down the street. Guy named Prentice Robinson, who had just come from a police station where he reported his cell phone stolen. Had another cell phone, though. Had a selfie stick, walking down the street, talking live on YouTube, when another man walked up and shot him 4 times. Now, they did catch the guy. They knew what he looked like. Did that help Prentice Robinson? No, it didn't. Wasn't much of a deterrent, was it? Oh, and speaking of sticks and gun control, I saw this and I thought it made a whole lot of sense. As a parallel here, when a child hits another child with a stick, you don't blame the stick, but you do take the stick away. That's the philosophy that needs to go with this. I'm not blaming the gun. The gun did not kill the 17 kids or Mr. Robinson. Somebody did. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. But of course, the gun helps. If you take the gun away, well, Rob, there's other ways people can kill people without a gun. Yeah, let's deal with those ways. When was the last time you saw a massacre of more than 5 people with a guy using a hammer? My point. Ta-da. Now, a lot of people want to arm the teachers. Really? Arm the teachers? Let's follow the logic behind this. The people who want to arm the teachers, one of their big arguments is cars are more dangerous than guns. Well, if you want to arm the teachers, let's give them a new car. No, you want to give them a gun. Fine. Since this was brought up, I was just thinking, can you imagine the clusterfuck that's going to happen when the cops show up to a school shooting and see a black teacher with a gun? I'm just saying. Then there's the other side of the problem, and this happened in something that was rather personal to me because it happened at the middle school I went to. First time it's actually ever touched home, and that's kind of literal. In this case, at Robertsville Middle School in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. That's right, I grew up in Tennessee. There was a 13-year-old boy who was removed from his class when he made a joke about shooting up the school. Now, that's not a good joke. I'm not saying it was in good taste. He said, I was kidding. I have no reason to shoot up the school. What did they do? They immediately expelled him, arrested him, took him to juvenile court, found him guilty of false reporting, which I'm not entirely sure how that turned out, but that's a felony, so they transferred him to Richard L. Bean Juvenile Center in Knoxville, where he's going to be spending an awful lot of time. Now, here's my problem with the way they did that. Suspend the kid, I get that. Give him very stern talking to, I get that. But arrest him and throw him in jail and make sure he can't go back to the school. Guess what? You have now given him a motive to come back and shoot up the school. Well done. Oh, by the way, did it occur to you that even though his joke was in bad taste, I'm not entirely sure you needed to ruin his entire life over it? Because, yeah, that's what you've just done. Ruin the entire life of a 13-year-old kid because he made a bad joke. One, I might add, thousands of kids have made over the history of ever. We used to sing songs about burning down the school. I didn't go to jail for it because we weren't serious. It was something we've all thought about doing at some point. I think everybody has, because schools aren't fun. It's not. One in a bajillion kids has fun at school. Most of them don't, because they make you work and learn things that you can't see at the time that you're going to need later. Or even now, algebra. I don't use algebra except to help my kid with her homework. So congratulations. You've just started a school shooting. Well done. Now, on a bigger level, Donald Trump, in his infinite wisdom, announced that maybe the reason for all these school shootings, it isn't the guns. It's violent movies and video games. They're the cause of all the gun violence because, yeah, we've heard this before. Although he came up with a solution. Maybe movies and violent video games need a rating system to let us know how violent they are. Like G and PG, PG-13 and R. Donnie, they have a rating system, you ass clown. If only we had a president who had, I don't know, a second grade education. Wouldn't that be nice? But it's not just Donnie who needs an education. There's some students in Louisiana who had some problems with education and guns recently. Oberlin High School had an issue with a math class. Because who doesn't have problems with math classes? Police were called when students believed that a teacher had threatened them by placing this symbol on the chalkboard and on a handout. It looks like a gun, the students proclaimed. He's threatening us. The teacher then had to explain to the police officers, it's not a gun, it is a square root symbol. It has been used in math long before the invention of the gun and was actually part of the curriculum even in Louisiana. Wow. Let's see what Betsy Davros does with this one. All right, other school news. West Virginia, I am approving of. Every school in West Virginia is closed because the teachers are on strike demanding higher wages and things like health insurance. How dare they? You keep that up. That's awesome. But they're not the only school that's closed. And now we're back to guns again. There's a Pennsylvania school district in Newfoundland, Pennsylvania, that's going to be closing because there's a church that is having a world peace and unification ceremony? Really? Tomorrow, Wednesday, February 28th, where Reverend Sean Moon, the self-proclaimed Messiah who founded the Unification Church, said they're going to be having a ceremony where parents can show their willingness to defend their families, communities, and nations. The concept is to bring a rod of iron, similar to the one in the biblical book of Revelations. And the rod of iron they're encouraged to bring is an AR-15 rifle. Yes, it's bring your rifle to church day, down the street from the school that's going to be closed because how can this not go wrong? It's such a good idea. I can't even make a joke out of that. That's just stupid. And now, news from the world of trans and or intergendered wrestling. Because how often are we going to have 2 stories in that category in 1 week? Let's start with Mac Beggs, who captured his second straight state wrestling title in Texas, where there still is high school wrestling. I don't know that my school's ever had high school wrestling. I digress. Yes, Mac Beggs captured his second straight state title by defeating Kushi Kendawali. Now, I'm not real sure of the ethnic background of Kushi, but if you're thinking Kushi, it does sound a bit feminine. And you would be correct, because Mac Beggs is a transgendered wrestler. Now, I'm not real sure what this means. If it was a boy and now a girl, then that's fine. Girl on girl wrestling. If it was a girl and now a boy, then you wrestle boys. But if it was a girl and now a boy who has had lots of testosterone pumped in and then fighting girls again, that doesn't, no. So maybe you create a transgender division, if there is such a thing. And here's the other story. Pro wrestler James Ellsworth thinks there is. You might have seen him on the WWE recently. All 5'8", 175 pounds of him. I think I've got kids bigger than that. He's always struck me as odd in appearance because he had a goatee, but no chin. Look him up. It's very strange. It's just kind of like a little fuzz hovering underneath his mouth because there's no chin. Anyway, he was released from the WWE several months ago because, well, if we're honest, he's fairly useless. Not a good wrestler. But now he's independent, and he's revealed that he has the World Intergender Wrestling Championship belt, which he made up. And he will take on any woman who wants to take it from him. He's trying to be Andy Kaufman, except he doesn't have the talent. This just sounds like a really, really bad idea. And I'm just wondering if Roddy Piper in his kilt is close enough to just kick his ass, take the belt, and let's just forget this whole incident ever happened. If you have any comments or questions or story ideas for the show, that's easier to do. Contact me, let's say through email, rob@the-fwot-show.com, or go to the website itself, the-fwot-show.com. There's buttons for Facebook and Twitter and the Fwot Shop, where you can buy t-shirts or hats or coffee mugs that go to support the Coil Entertainment Network. Don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes or through the Google Play Store or even YouTube. In the meantime, I am going to leave you with yet another gun story. The NRA have been saying that they want to arm the teachers, right? They want more guns in school. But isn't this the group that banned guns last year from the NRA Convention for Safety Concerns? Yeah, same group. By the way, if teachers are going to have to carry guns, I'm just wondering, will the librarians have to have silencers on theirs? Anyway, be safe, everyone. We'll see you next week.